Hello, and welcome to Humanities, the heart of Plymouth State.
I'm Theo.
And my name is Alyssa. We are joined with Liz Ahl. Would you like to say hi?
Good morning.
Hello.
Well, thanks for inviting me to talk about this important stuff. I am a faculty member. I'm a tenured faculty member in the English department, in the English program. And I started on the faculty here in the fall of 2001. I've served on a lot of faculty governance, am active in the faculty union.
I mean, I could say firsthand, you're the best creative writing and poetry professor I've had here.
Thank you. Who is the other creative writing and poetry professor?
There are none. But if there were others, I know you'd be better than them.
Well, that's very sweet.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, it's good to see that you're highly recommended by your students.
I give 2 thumbs up.
So we kind of wanted to get into this by talking about what impact cutting down the humanities and generalizing it would have on our professors.
Well, I cannot speak to other professors, sort of what their response would be to this. I mean, I think I hesitate to generalize about sort of what the impact will be of cuts that have not been determined or described to me. Certainly, there has been real talk about cutting faculty, about firing faculty. And obviously that would impact faculty adversely. If I think about, my own privileged in many ways situation as a full-time tenured faculty member, I have health insurance to lose. So I do think about, I'm a person with some chronic health conditions who is only just turning 55. And so Medicare is way off. And so I think, I lose a salary, I lose health insurance, I lose that protection. I have colleagues who are teaching alongside me who do not have health insurance to begin with. And I have colleagues alongside me who are on contingent contracts who can be fired pretty much at any time in a year at will. So it will have an impact on me. It will have an impact on every faculty member involved in these programs. What exactly that will be, I think we can make some good guesses. I don't feel done working here yet, but I may be. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
The problem with these questions is we don't know, we don't have a plan that they're giving us.
Right.
Like there's no communication of what could be going on.
Things are happening sort of very quickly and very slowly in turns that make it challenging, I think, to have a conversation about what is going to happen because we don't know what is going to happen. But it certainly is an occasion for us to talk about, the humanities were called out here. That is true. That was clearly communicated to faculty. And so certainly even in the void where more concrete information could be and will hopefully be soon, there's an opportunity here that I'm glad you all are seizing to talk about what's valuable, to hear from students about what's valuable in the humanities, in the arts, in the social sciences, and to hear from faculty about that as well. Yeah. So I think I really feel your frustration as a faculty member who is trying to have conversations and make plans, and I just want to know what's going on too.
Could you paint a picture of PSU without an English program?
Well, here's why you regret asking an English faculty member onto your podcast. I think that to consider that question, we have to consider, what do we mean when we say English program? Because I think different people mean different things when they say that. So I don't know. I kind of want to ask you guys, what is the communication and media studies program? What are the ingredients? What constitutes a program? an academic program? Like, what do you need?
I mean, we have our required courses and our set faculty and like people who are CMS majors.
Okay, so right, three main ingredients, right? Courses, faculty, students, and those are in a dynamic relation with each other. The courses can't exist without the faculty and can't run without the faculty and cannot run without the students and can't really fully exist without the students either. So when we talk about program revision or program elimination, like what are we talking about? I think some people mean catalog copy, like here's the communication media studies major, right? It lists these requirements, it requires these classes, these credits. And some people speak about programs as if that is the main and sort of primary thing. So for instance, when we imagine a future after possible huge cuts to faculty, you want to ask, okay, well, who's teaching the classes? We've been reassured that they will be taught, they will exist. And of course, they can continue to exist as catalog copy, as course descriptions, as rooms and bodies. Who will be teaching them? And who will be overseeing the curriculum in communication and media studies or in English? Who will be designing, revising, assessing, adjusting that based on students' evolving needs and on the discipline's evolution as well? Who will be doing that work? And I that's another unknown. There's a lot of room for speculation here, and I have really mixed feelings about my own speculations. I don't want to catastrophize, but I also want to plan, and I want to have honest conversations about what worries me. I think in a broad, so that's, what is a program? Is a program being eliminated if all the classes still exist? Is a program being curtailed? Is it being revised? Who's revising it and why? Like, for what purpose? I think that what we call English, which I think to us is reading and writing and thinking, and also rhetoric, right, which is a matter of reading and writing and thinking, are integral to education at the post-secondary level. So I'm not sure you get to call yourself a university if you don't have English. Again, there can be lots of quibbling about what it means or doesn't mean to quote unquote have English. This is, again, me, an English person, putting quote unquote around words. And we're having this conversation not because of magically renewed interest in revolutionizing the discipline of English and the broader disciplines of the humanities. We're having this conversation because we don't have enough money, and that we cannot pretend that that is not the case. But also, I think it's disingenuous to pretend that we're very interested in fixing something that is not broken in the way that it would need to be broken for us to fix it in certain ways. I'm not even sure if what I said made sense.
I know
but
what you mean.
I think
We're going after something that's a non-issue.
Yeah, I think our English program has, over the years that I've been here, been at the cutting edge of all sorts of transformations on this campus. We were leaders when the general education program shifted from a distribution model to a more skills-based and habits of mind-based model. Like, it used to be everyone has to take an L perspective class. And what did that mean? That mean you had to take a class that had the L designation. And what did the L stand for? It stood for literature. So we focused on not so much all students must take capital L literature, but we asked ourselves, well, why do we think all students have to take literature? And it wasn't about like, well, everyone should read Beowulf. It was more like, well, students need certain sets of skills that can be really honed and supported in the work of closely reading and talking about and responding to literature.
My original question was about PSU without English.
Yes.
But you answered my question about why do people need literature? Like not just English majors, and why does everyone need it?
And I think it's sort of that practical sense, but also like when we ask like, what do we need? Like, what do college students need, or why do college students need literature? I think one of the questions you emailed to me was like, why do we need poetry? And I think this idea of need is pretty interesting. Like, I don't need to understand all of that. I sure do need meteorologists, though. And I need to take science if I'm an undergraduate. Like, I need the opportunity to have or not have meteorology as my own area of study. And I feel similarly about poetry. I think, who needs poetry? I think the world needs poetry. I think students, maybe especially first-generation college students from the North Country of New Hampshire, need access to diverse variety of educational opportunities. And when we start talking about trimming the humanities and the arts, what we are supporting is a notion, I think, that those are for rich people. You can't try that. So I'm not ever going to be here asserting like everyone needs to take my poetry class because it will give you the meaning of life. And I don't think that's true of any discipline, but I do think it's really important to have access to opportunities, imaginative opportunities to imagine yourself and the world and your future and your town and your own capabilities differently.
We could write a poem about how much you want lunch.
Well, and just I want to say too, English is all over, especially our writing classes. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Theo, what have you had, 3 classes with me?
Yes, the creative writing and then the 2 poetry workshop classes.
And are you an English major?
I'm not an English major, but I have 2 minors related to English.
So minors, that's another way people sort of quantify what they're exploring. And I work with students from all over the disciplines. I got a posse of game design students in my creative writing class this semester. Like a quarter of my class is game design. So I created a new assignment to try and more intently bridge what I consider sort of the realm of creative writing and the realm of game design. And it has very much to do with character creation and storytelling. I haven't done this assignment before. We're hitting it next week. Fingers crossed. I've already told my game design students, I'm like, you guys have to help me make this work. And I'm sure they will. They're delightful.
That's good.
So I love how having students from different disciplines in creative writing, especially in that class, affects the class.
I think a good place to segue this to while we're talking about the students of PSU, especially our English majors, is how much the English program impacts PSU outside of classes. And the way we were looking at this is we took a look at our student council and all of the different major clubs and organizations around campus and all of the things that all of these students do. And we looked at their majors and we saw a whole bunch of English majors everywhere. And I just can't imagine if everyone was just gone. I mean, we'd lose a lot.
Yeah, I think it's true for the humanities and humanities affiliated programs more broadly as well. I'm very excited to I hope we can quantify those numbers. I really want to see what those actual numbers are, because anecdotally they feel very strong to me, and I'd like to see those percentages. I think admissions tour guides, I think orientation staff, I think student life workers, I think obviously leadership in student organizations. There's a lot of English there, right? Student government right now happens to be having its sort of English moment. And of course the clock. PSU poets and writers. I think that is, and that's true of a lot of English faculty as well. So if we talk about sort of a program radically decreasing its human presence on campus, its human resource on campus, there are a lot of places that you wouldn't think of. So I do think when we talk about, when we imagine potential loss, I think there are the obvious consequences, and then I think there are the less obvious, possibly unintended consequences of a contraction in the enthusiastic engagement with student life outside of the classroom, outside of the program, or sort of next to the classroom, next to the program.
It was like really upsetting to think about, like, do these people not realize how much different campus would be, or do they really not want us here? It's like, damn.
I think it goes back to that point you brought up, that you brought up earlier, where it's like, do I need it, or does the world need it?
Do we need it?
Yeah,
and what is the we? And I think this is where you cannot pretend we don't live in New Hampshire, where it appears that our legislature and our governor do not share our belief in public access to public higher education as a common good, when we know, like, research has shown that there are economic benefits to not just the individual having a major and getting a diploma, but to the town and to the state, an engaged citizenry. I think many of us have been taught to think of our individual access to an opportunity to attend college as only benefiting ourselves. So no one else should pay for that at all because it's not their kid. And I'm like, well, it's my kid. It's my state. Like, I'm a citizen. I pay taxes. Please take more of them to fund the university system and less of them to fund revenue cuts for the wealthy, right? The dividends tax, like the business taxes, like that's why we're running out of money. It's because we've cut off revenues there. And also, please don't use my tax dollars to fund people who already have means to send their children to private religious schools and drain that money from the public school that I want all of my neighbors' children to have access to. What's the point of being in the club of a state or a nation if we don't do stuff together to make it good for everybody?
I don't know if I have any exact questions, but you said a lot of great things that people can definitely talk about. People are already talking about it. It's just like, it's insane that we even have to worry about this.
Yes.
That we've fallen so far down as a society, or at least some people have. Other people, still got good morals, but, the morals of those, I think it was said by Kelsey last time, people who control the money.
Yeah.
The people who control the money, like, if you have it all, you don't have to worry about the little guys. You only worry about your own needs rather than the needs of everyone else.
Which is sad to see the people in charge of us are the ones who have these ideas instead of being the ones to speak for the people who are supposed to be electing them to speak for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just really want to say I'm grateful that we're having this conversation and that you're having these kinds of conversations among yourselves. Like, students are talking with each other about this. Students and faculty are talking with each other. Faculty are talking amongst ourselves. I will say, curriculum changes are always going to be happening in some way or another. And like I said, I'm teaching this global lit class for the first time in the fall, and I love teaching a class for the first time energy. Like, there's the newness, and there's I love that. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. But also, I am not the person who should be teaching global literatures. That is not my area of expertise. I'm a good teacher. That's fine. I'm going to do a good job. I've got all these angles. I'm doing all this research. But our students deserve, a post-colonial literature expert, or an African literatures expert, or a Caribbean literatures expert, or whatever. And I guess I just have one more thing that I wonder about, which is we've been cutting for so long. we never had much to cut from to begin with in terms of the state level of support. I wonder, like, what's the vision for what remains? Like, what is it? Like, if we're making hard cuts to try and save the university, what is it in the final picture, if there is a final picture, that is left?
Oh, Scott.
Scott Kuykendall. What a mensch.
Right.
Make sure to keep that in the show.
That'll be the theme.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to chat, and good luck editing my blather down to a reasonable serving size. But leave in the Scott Kuykendall part.
I will.
Yeah.
This has been Humanities, the heart of Plymouth State.
Once again, I'm Theo,
And my name is still Alyssa, and we hope to see you here again.
and good salutations to all.